What is up, YouTube, and welcome to episode 53 of the Chaos Daily. I've just been taking it easy today. Yeah, I was a bit hardcore yesterday. Just straight into it. Feeling it today. Went to bed at like 4 a.m. and I woke up at 9, so it was enough sleep. That's what, 5 hours? 5? Yeah, it's 5 hours sleep. Yeah, that's enough. Just been picking away at the albatross wing again today, but I did something different. I deleted all the work that I did and I started again. It's like my go-to thing. There were some issues with something somewhere, so I went back to the previous file and changed a couple of things and then exported the part for the wing in a different way so that I could start on it fresh with a different set of parameters so I can attack it in a different direction, and it seems to be working. I have all the segments cut up. The aileron is redone. We'll jump into inventory just now and I'll show you. I've pretty much got caught up to where I was except for all the ribs for the wings, but at least the wing is cut into sections now, and I've cut the one closest to the root, that section, even with this one. There seems to be some kind of trouble with it. I started with the part file that has the whole albatross in it, and that's got the fuselage. That's where I've created all the geometry and everything that I then export as individual parts. You know, export those as STLs and make the parts for 3D printing. Something about the way that it shelled the wing in that one, when I exported that solid to a part, and I'm working now on that part in its own part file, it doesn't seem to like that internal solid face. For some reason, I don't know why. It's a lofted feature, it should be fine, but it's a lofted feature that is profiled off of a freeform geometry that is cut. So there is some weird geometric intersection cut lines somewhere that the math just goes, no, I will not do that. So let me jump into Inventor and show you what I've been doing, and we will go from there. Boy, is it hot today. Oh my god, is it hot today. It was like 34, 35 degrees outside today. I've always normally got the AC on, but even with the AC on today, you can feel, can you see it? Like I've got a sheen. I've got a Charlie Sheen on my forehead. That should be a thing, a Charlie Sheen. Like I said, ailerons are done. I've done them a little bit differently. They're better now. I think they're better. Yeah, and I got all the sections cut. You can see all the parts, all of the wings skins, as well as you can see there was a double select there. See that? It switches between the two. If we zoom in, which ones was it? It was this one and this one. Yeah. So if I hide this one, you can see how it's now got a lip, and you can see there. We have the skin, which is the 0.5mm thickness, and then we have this internal volume, and then it's this that I can use to make the ribs, the cutouts, the internal structure, rather than messing around with the skin and screwing the skin up. So I will focus on, you know, any modifications, any holes or tubes or things for spars, and everything gets done to this internal structure and not to the outside solid. And then I can just rejoin them all together and export them as parts, and then open up those parts and export those as STLs. That's the plan. That's how I've done everything so far. It seems to be working, except this one was a bit more trouble, but it's getting there now. So we are much closer to getting the wings ready for print. In fact, I'm quite confident that I can move further with this now. It's not going to halt at some point, and I won't have to start again. So I might actually export the aileron sections so that I can get started printing on those. I could probably get this side and the right side all on the print bed at the same time, and that'll be good because then, yeah, we can see how they print. Also, I've made the ribs closer together. They're a lot closer. I've got here one of the failed Ruddervator ones. This is one of the failed Ruddervators. This was on the previous build. I'm now replacing this with the current print. It'll be done in a few hours. This failed because it somehow detached itself from the supports at the top here. It printed like this, like that, and somehow some of the ones at the end here, they detached and then it started hanging loose, and then that's why that's got this wonkiness to it. And before it even got all the way finished, I was like, you know what, no, I'm pulling that out. So I opened the printer, yanked it off, so that it wouldn't affect anything else that was printing at the time, because that was a 27-hour print. Yeah, I didn't want to screw the whole print bed up, so I just pulled that out and I can reprint this by itself. So this has got a few more hours to go and this will be done. But this has got the improved spacing for the ribs. And there is still a little bit of this skin warpage. It's not like that when I pull it out of the printer. This warping of the skin only seems to happen once I do the washing. So I have a feeling that it might be the alcohol that does this weird thing to thin-walled structures. I might have to do some testing on that, because if that's the case, then it might mean that I need to take these and find another way to clean them before curing them, or try and cure them straight out of the printer so that I can maintain that surface finish on the thin-walled parts. And also you can see here where it's collapsed and it's sort of bound to the other side. So where it's really thin like this, it's starting to collapse in like that and stick, and then you get this sort of bow in it. So that's not ideal. I mean, it's not the end of the day. It has that sort of like look and feel of a shrink wrap plane. When you build a balsa plane and you use the shrink wrap material over it, it's very similar to that, except this is a bit more rigid, and it's actually quite sturdy and stiff and stable in that. It's not brittle at all. I keep saying that this Siraya Tech resin is amazing. More people should be resin printing planes, especially with Siraya Tech resin. It's incredible. Yeah, anyways, back to Inventor. So yeah, as I was saying, I've increased the rib count, reduced the spacing, and it shouldn't be as much of a problem as it was for these renovators. This is a very thin part, so there's a very acute angle for this to have to deal with. The ailerons here have a lot more wider angle, so there's going to be less of that pinching going on. Also, the point at which the tip diverges as two separate skins is a little further away than it was on this. On this, I think there was about a 4 mil area where the two skins joined and were conjoined. This is a bit longer than that. I think that's about, let's see, that's a 3 mil hole, so 4 or 5 mils. So if 4 or 5 mils, this will be solid material. There won't be any split or hollowness to it. So that'll be a nice bit of thick material there for it to have some strength in that, so it can hold up nicely and help sort of support the torsional forces from the control horn at the one end here. Now, a lot of people are going to mention that I should put the control horn somewhere in the middle and move the servo out further. Can't be done. Not with the servos I'm using. I have slim wing servos that I could probably use to do it, but with these servos that I'm using, they're 12 mil thick, and a 12 mil thick servo just barely fits in this area here. The wing just loses that 12 mil thickness beyond that point. You just don't have enough space to put the servo in. So yeah, that pretty much covers it for Inventor and what I've been doing. Just been taking it easy today. I'm not feeling well. I think I've caught a bug. And no, it's not COVID. I don't go anywhere. I don't meet anyone. I am isolated. I've been isolated since before COVID. When this is all over, I will still be isolated. It's not COVID. It's just a sore throat and an ear infection from overworking yesterday, I think. Yeah. Waiting for some anime. I'll watch some anime and take a break and get back to work. So yeah. So that'll cover it for today's episode. I'm just going to keep it real short. Like I said, I'm worn out. Like, I'm still working on this thing and been taking it a bit more easy today, just, dealing with things. But before we go, I just want to say a huge thank you, a massive thank you. I am so grateful to all of you that have subscribed. We just broke 300 subscribers thanks to Breaking Taps. Yep, the YouTuber Breaking Taps. I made a comment on his channel about his 3D printing, metal plating printed parts, which is really cool, and there's a lot more to do that. He's also doing tensile testing and stuff that I'm going to be doing as well. So we got talking and whatnot, and I mentioned that I'm sitting at 299 subscribers, and it would be so cool if you could just go hit subscribe and be the 300th, and he did, and it was awesome. And then he tweeted about it, and that was fantastic. So thank you very much, dude. I really appreciate it, and thank you to all of you that have subscribed and been here and are still with me with this journey. It's incredible. Like 400, here we come. Let's do this. So yeah. We'll leave it there for today's episode. As always, I've been Chaos. Make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. And check out my Patreon if you can. It's super helpful. And until next time, expect the unexpected. And I will see you guys later. And a special thank you to all my patrons that help support the channel. If you would also like to support the channel, there's a link in the description.